Have you ever looked around and wondered why some people seem to get rich, while others, no matter how hard they work, just seem to be struggling? Well, today we're digging into a core lesson from the mega bestseller Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's an idea that completely flips conventional wisdom on its head, and it's all about this. The rich don't work for money.
I mean, this is the question at the absolute heart of the book. The advice we've all heard a million times. Go to school, get a good, safe job. It's presented like it's the only way. But what if that very advice is the thing that's actually keeping people financially stuck? What if it's a trap?
So the way the book explains this whole philosophy is through a really simple but super powerful story. It's all about the author, Robert Kiyosaki, and his experience growing up with two dads, two very, very different father figures. Okay, so check out this contrast. On one hand, you have his poor dad. That was his actual father, a brilliant guy, highly educated with a PhD who did everything you're supposed to do. Then you've got his rich dad, his best friend's father. This guy was an 8th grade dropout. Now here's the kicker. Both of them worked incredibly hard, but one struggled with money his full life and died broke. The other, he became one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii.
So you see, it had nothing to do with how smart they were or even how much effort they put in. The monumental difference in their financial lives all boiled down to just one thing, their fundamental mindset about how money actually works.
All right, so let's first dig into the mindset of the poor dad, which the book calls the traditional money trap. And honestly, it's the path that most of us are taught to follow without ever really questioning it.
You know this script, right? It's the one we hear over and over. And when you really look at it, it's a system that's perfectly designed to create one thing: excellent employees. You learn how to be a valuable part of someone else's machine, trading your time, which is your most precious resource, by the way, for a paycheck.
And this path leads directly to what Kiyosaki famously called the rat race. You know that feeling like you're a hamster on a wheel, just running and running as fast as you can, but you never actually get anywhere financially.
So here's how the cycle works. You get a job, you get a salary. Great. Then, as you start to earn more money, your lifestyle inflates to match it. A nicer car, a bigger house. Suddenly, your expenses have grown right alongside your income. And now, that safe job isn't a choice anymore. It's a necessity. You're trapped.
So, what's the fuel that keeps this whole thing going? It's one powerful emotion: fear. The fear of not paying your bills, the fear of losing your job, the fear of what on earth would happen if that paycheck just stopped. And that fear is exactly what paralyzes people and prevents them from ever trying to break free.
Okay, so that's the trap. Now let's flip the coin and look at how Rich Dad's philosophy creates a totally different reality. This is where the script gets completely turned on its head. It's not about working harder, it's about thinking differently.
See, while most people are laser focused on their salary, how much they get paid an hour, the rich are looking at something else entirely. They get it. They understand their time is finite. You only have so many hours in a day, but money can work for you 24/7.
So what are they doing instead? It's simple. They're acquiring and building assets. And an asset, according to this book, is defined very simply. It's something that puts money in your pocket, whether you're actively working or not. The questions they ask themselves are on a whole other level. Their minds are constantly scanning for opportunities to make their money work for them, to build systems that generate cash flow completely independent of their time. So, instead of asking, how do I get a raise? They're asking, how can I buy a rental property that pays me every single month?
And this entire massive difference, it really all comes down to a single crucial question that separates these two mindsets. A question that sets you on a completely different financial path.
Here it is. The poor mindset always asks, how can I get a better paying job? The focus is on the salary. But the rich mindset asks a totally different question. How can I build assets that generate income? The focus there isn't on the job, it's on building wealth.
And right there, that's the whole game. The second you start asking that second question, everything changes. You stop thinking like an employee, and you start thinking like an investor. You move from being a cog in the machine to being the owner of the machine.
Okay, so this sounds great, right? But how do you actually start to escape the rat race? Well, the book is super clear. This isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. It doesn't happen overnight. It all starts with your education.
The very first step is to just start learning. You've got to spend time really understanding what an asset truly is, how different investments work, and all the different ways you can create income that doesn't require your direct labor.
Ultimately, the real goal here is financial literacy. It's about learning the language of money. Because once you understand it, you're the one in control.
You're no longer a slave to the fear of not having enough, because you understand the principles of how to create more.
So the lesson is clear. Stop working for money and start building assets. But that leads to a final, really provocative question to chew on. What if the things that most people spend their entire lives working for, like their homes and their cars, aren't the assets they think they are?